Buenas tardes y bienvenidos. Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Demetra Trejo, Director of Public Relations and Marketing with Mission CISD, and I will be your MC for today. Yeah. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing with us this opportunity to discuss the important discussions on education. So we hope you are looking forward to enjoying and learning something new from today's State of Education panel discussion. I'd like to start by introducing our distinguished panel you will be hearing more from today if you can stand and be recognized. We have President Guy Bailey of the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. President Ricardo Solis of South Texas College. And Assistant Provost, Dr. Adolfo Santos of Texas A&M University Higher Education Center at McAllen. Thank you so much for being here with us today. At this time, I would also like to recognize all of our public officials joining us today. If you could please stand and be recognized when I call your name. We have Mayor of Mission, Nori Gonzalez Garza. We have Mayor Pro Tem of Mission, Ruben Plata. We have Councilwoman of Mission, Jessica Ortega. Councilman of Mission, Abiel Flores. Councilman of Mission, Alberto Vela. Senator Juan Chuy Hinojosa, if he is present. Mayor of McAllen, Javier Villalobos. Mayor of Edinburgh, Ramiro Garza. Representative from U.S. Senator Ted Cruz, Adrianelli Gomez. Representative from the state of Texas Governor Abbott's office, Mallory McCoy. And representative from Senator Cornyn's office, Clarissa Castro. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And if I may have left anyone out, please stand so that we can recognize you. Thank you. Awesome. So to begin the program, I would like to welcome Ms. Brenda Enriquez, President and CEO of the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce, for a warm welcome. Everybody, Ms. Brenda Enriquez.
Thank you. On behalf of the Board of Directors, our team, and the wonderful City of Mission, Buenas Tardes and welcome. Our legendary Buenas Tardes Luncheon is one of our signature events we are very honored to host here at our wonderful Mission Event Center. These lunches bring the community together and share important highlights which impact what overall unites us all, and that is business and commerce. So we have a wonderful program prepared for you today. Thank you in advance. Thank you for sharing your time with us. And I'd like to let everybody know today, to our investors and our sponsors, that we are so grateful to have a great support from the community to make this event a memorable one. So today's sponsors, we are completely sold out. So all of the table sponsors for today, thank you. You deserve a round of applause. Our business sponsor, the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, thank you. And I will also thank our investors. Our investors help us support and sponsor our events year-round and everything we do here at the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce. So I'll thank our investors at this moment. We have City of Mission, Mission CISD, Gano and Sons Trucking, one of our newest investors, Texas National Bank, Mission EDC, Mission Regional Medical Center, South Texas Health System, IBC Bank, Bird Ogden RGB, and our latest two investors as well, and that's Blue Cross Blue Shield and Beauty Lace. Thank you. Okay. Everyone, please enjoy your lunch, the program, and the company, and welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Brenda. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise for the presentation of colors led by the City of Mission Police Department and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation led by Dr. Carol G. Perez, Mission CISD Superintendent. Dr. Perez.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now for the invocation, if you would bow your heads. This morning, I will pray the prayer of Jabez for all of our dignitaries and every head, instructional leader, CEO of their institutions. Lord, this morning we pray that you will bless every single individual that is here representing an instructional entity or a corporation or a city department, that you would bless them indeed, which means that you will bless them a lot. Bless them, Father, with health, with strategy, with know-how, with wisdom and knowledge, that you would enlarge their territories, that you would give them supernatural strategy and insight to be able to expand what they already do and reach highest potentials, that your hand would be upon them, that they know that without you, they will not be able to accomplish the job, that you will give them supernatural strength as they come in, as they come out, that you would touch them from the crown of their head to the sole of their feet, and that you would keep them from harm, Lord. Any entrapment that the enemy would bring against them, Lord, that no weapon formed against them will prosper, and that everything that their hand touches will prosper, that they will be like the trees planted by the rivers of water that will bring forth abundant fruit. Father, we also pray for the meal that we're about to receive, that you will let it be nourishing to our bodies, that you will bless the hands that prepare them, and that business that brought that meal, Father. In the precious name of Jesus, we pray that you would protect all of our institutions, all of our learning institutions, all of our cities' offices, county office, state office, governmental offices. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Thank you once more to Dr. Perez for that inspiring prayer. That was very inspiring. It is now time for me to introduce our panel of speakers. So when I call your name, if you can please step to the stage. We have President Guy Bailey of the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. We have President Ricardo Solis of South Texas College. And we have Assistant Provost Dr. Adolfo Santos of Texas A&M University Higher Education Center at McAllen. And now I will be introducing our moderator. And I'm going to turn it over to him to continue this part of the program. I would now like to introduce Mr. Craig Burley. So that's right. Our moderator for today is no stranger to the world of education. He just wrapped up a 25-year career as the Public Relations and Marketing Director for Mission CISD. He often says that this allowed him to take his 12-year of broadcast news experience in a whole new direction of service and partnership building, all in support of district students and programs. His work for Mission CISD for the betterment of the school communications professions in the state earned he and his public relations team multiple awards during the years, including the Professional Achievement Award for the Texas School Public Relations Association. Everybody, please welcome Mr. Craig Burley. Thank you.
Thank you, Demetri, for the introduction, and welcome everybody, and especially welcome to our panelists for the luncheon today. When CJ first gave me a call asking if I'd be interested in serving as moderator today, I jumped at the opportunity, having come right out of public education, to be able to sit on stage with the three of you all representing education and where our students would end up in your hands so many times as a part of the partnerships that all the school districts have with you all. So CJ, thank you for the invite to do this. We're going to start to dive into the questions fairly quickly. And we're going to start with something that's going to just kind of get the ball rolling a little bit. Dr. Santos, how about if we start with you, and we'll kind of work our way down the line. If you could, for starters, just kind of introduce who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then now that we're starting the school year and students are starting to return to campus and will be over the next couple of weeks, let us know what in particular you're looking forward to as you start this school year at your institution.
Well, you bet, and thank you, Craig, for that. Thank you very much for the invitation as well. I'm Dr. Adolfo Santos. I'm the Assistant Provost at the Texas A&M Higher Education Center here in McAllen, Texas, in beautiful Tres Lagos. If you haven't had a chance to come visit, please do so. It's a beautiful campus. I came here by way of Georgia. I was a dean of a college out there for 5 years before seeing the opportunity to come start something new here at Texas A&M University. And it was a very exciting opportunity for me for a whole host of reasons. One was that I have always been very concerned about providing educational opportunities for the growing Latino population in our state and our country. And this was an opportunity to really broaden that opportunity for our young people. So I came here in 2018 to help roll out the new Higher Education Center McAllen. It's a 65,000 square foot building. And when we first started, we had a small number of programs. We've doubled that number of programs significantly since we've been here. We are now up to 9. Soon we'll have a 10th program with the nursing program. We have a new building coming up, and we're very excited about that. So to your point, one of the things that I'm really looking forward to this coming year is that we've got the largest class that we've had thus far joining us. Every year we see the number of students applying to Texas A&M here at the Higher Education Center increase. And it usually increases by a couple hundred students. We have seen that this year as well, and we are very excited to welcome this new cohort of students. The other thing that we're looking forward to is that we're rolling out a couple of new academic programs that we didn't have before. We have a program that focuses on business, but it's a unique type of business. It's maritime business administration. It's a program that a local boy, Colonel Mike Fossum, really supported for us. He's heading up the Galveston campus, and he was given the opportunity to start a new program down here, and because he's from McAllen, he really pushed to have this maritime business administration degree to be brought down. So we're hoping that will be very successful for those students that are interested in business, and given the number of ports that we have in this region, it becomes very, very useful for us. We have an education degree as well, also to complement the education programs that exist already. We have a program that focuses on STEM fields, so it'll be preparing teachers to teach in middle grades for STEM fields. And then we also have the only human resource development program that we're rolling out here as well. So we're very excited to have those programs starting here this coming year. So that's one of the things that we're looking forward to. We're also looking forward to the new restructuring of the campus. Texas A&M has gone through this very significant restructuring process across the institution, combining programs and a whole host of other things. One of those efforts, however, was to redesign our campus down here. We now have a chief operating officer, somebody that's no stranger to many of you here. Manny Vela is on our team now. He came by way of Valley Baptist, so he's now helping to lead our campus, focusing not only on what we do at the Higher Education Center McAllen, but also the Colonias project. So we're sort of broadening our footprint, and he's playing a much more active role in having Texas A&M University engage with the Colonias and the challenges that members of our community that live in those areas are having to deal with on a regular basis. So those are some of the things that we're looking forward to.
Very good. Thank you very much. Dr. Santos, you're next. I'm looking right at you. I'm sorry, Dr. Solis.
Understood, yes. Hi, my name is Ricardo Solis, and I'm president of South Texas College. And muy buenas tardes. It is an honor to be here at this unique event. Gracias. By the way, this month will be my second year at this very prestigious institution, and it's an honor to be part of it. But most importantly, I wanted to thank the Mission Chamber, the city, and of course all the other dignitaries that are here from McAllen, Chuy Hinojosa, and everyone else. And of course, there's many other people from the school districts that are here, because all of you are here for the same purpose, and that is to support, to grow what's most important, and it is now higher education. And that is what it's going to take to move, which already has an impact tremendously, RGV. Now, at South Texas College, by the way, we are the youngest college system in the state of Texas. And I mention system because we are a system. We are a large district in 2 counties with 6 campuses, close to 30,000 students. And now we are growing even more with over 100 credentials and programs. And by the way, we're the only community college in the state of Texas that has 5 bachelor's degrees as well. Yes. Thank you. But our focus, as you probably heard in the past 2 years or more, has been in health and technology. And back to specifically your question, what I'm looking forward to, of course, I need at least 2 hours. We have many programs. And of course, we have a couple of my board members that are here as well, Ms. Dalinda Alcantar and Mr. Paul Rodriguez. They are the key for this institution. And the district, like I mentioned, we are the 6th largest in the state of Texas, a very unique, comprehensive institution with many programs. But those are the 2 areas that I'm very proud of. And I mentioned health because I think all of you probably heard just a couple of weeks ago, we announced a significant announcement, which was that we became the first institution, not only in Texas, but in the whole entire United States, to have a nurse apprenticeship. That is a huge endeavor. Registered nurse is very unique and very difficult to obtain. That's why nobody else has had one. And of course, we're going to continue growing other programs. Presently, we have 14 apprenticeships. And I'll get back to that later if we have time. Why apprenticeships? Well, given today's struggles and this whole ecosystem, especially post-pandemic, our students now are struggling with identifying what to do. Although our students, they know what they want in some areas, but still they want to find value, they want to find reason to continue in higher education. Apprenticeship is a pathway now, a very unique one, to offer students an opportunity to earn while they learn. And that is why it is so important that at least is another way to be able to bring students in. Because right now we're going through a very unique time. Never before in the history in the United States economy has education been so critical in impacting students. And especially here, hopefully we'll have time to talk about that, in this region. That is why I'm here, and that's why we're all here. We're so excited. We have so much that's going to happen here in the next few years because of our geographic location and also because of our demographics and our young labor force and our young, of course, citizens. That's going to be a remarkable opportunity for us to continue growing, bring the latest technology. So as I mentioned, apprenticeships, implementing and actually more than tripling our apprenticeships, that's what we plan to do. We're also going to have other new programs that we're going to be implementing this year already, changing to artificial intelligence and robotics. Of course, with the latest technology. And we're also looking forward to other partnerships with UTRGV as well in artificial intelligence and that route, because our students deserve that. And again, I know that all of you feel very proud of that, that education is going to be key for the future of the Rio Grande Valley. And of course, I can go on and on of other projects that we have, but I know we have a lot of things to discuss, so thank you.
Well, welcome, welcome. And I know you've been here such a short period of time, relatively speaking, but you are familiar with the border region because you came to us here in the Rio Grande Valley from Laredo, correct?
Correct. Yes, I was president in Loreto College for a little bit over 5 years. And I'm glad you mentioned that because the border is not foreign to me, and this is a very unique opportunity. And I'm glad you reminded me. We're also going to be focusing on, there I go, I know more programs, into international trade programs and logistics and warehousing. And we're going to have a center that we're about to announce next month here at the SEED, there in Mission. We're going to have not only a center of international trade, but also of apprenticeships, the only type of it in the entire nation when it comes to apprenticeship center at a college, and also, of course, an international center working with McAllen, Mission, and all the other border cities to be able to grow that, because we have an incredible opportunity. We keep on hearing about Laredo being the largest trading area. Well, here in the Valley, we have just as much or even more crossings, more opportunity for international trade. So we're very excited about this opportunity and prosper to continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Dr. Bailey, a little bit about yourself and then what you're looking forward to most as you start the school year.
Well, thank you very much. First of all, I appreciate the Mission Chamber for hosting this and for having us here. We're very excited about the school year coming up, in large part thanks to Senator Hinojosa and the work he did in the legislature. So, Senator, thank you so much. This turned out to be a good session, and we're very fortunate in the Valley to have tremendous representation in the state legislature. So thank you. We anticipate about 32,000 students this fall, and so we're very excited about that. Now, we're committed to providing the highest quality education to students at a price that helps them avoid graduating with debt. And so of our undergraduates this fall, 86% of them will pay no tuition and no fees. Think about that. That's how you graduate with no debt, right? And the average total academic cost for our students, undergraduate students, $1,100. Think about that. Even if you were paying tuition and fees, you graduate with your degree for what, a little over about $5,000? It's a great bargain for very high quality education. So we're really excited about that. We have a number of new programs. Our School of Podiatric Medicine is in its second year. We have a new PhD in material science. I see our engineering dean is right out here. It's going to be a tremendous program and tremendous for the Valley. He has our first member of the National Academy of Engineering right there in our College of Engineering. Very exciting. But we have other things going on. As most of you know, I think you may have heard we're going to have a football team pretty soon. Yeah, you hear about that? Coach Bush has already been to every Valley High School twice. He told me he made 500 school visits already. But he started in the Valley. He said there's great talent here. We keep this talent first. But the great thing about football is just not the football team. It's everything else around it. It's the spirit squad. It's the band. Hey, did I mention a marching band? Yeah. as we get toward the end of the fall, start looking at parades and start looking for the Vaqueros marching band, because you'll see them there. So many exciting things are happening on campus. It's a great time to be there. And we look forward to your coming and visiting us. And most important, we appreciate you entrusting your young people to us, your sons and your daughters. I mean, I have children too, so we'll take good care of them, give them a great education, and do our best to keep them out of debt. So thank you.
It's always fun to see the pride that comes out of each and every one of you when you go to speak about your institutions. It's fun to watch. Moving on to more meatier subjects now, we in the state of Texas just finished up a legislative year with the 88th legislative session. One of the major things they do is deal with funding. That includes funding for your all's institutions. If you could, give us a general idea of what kind of impact that has for you all and your institutions, and then also how that impacts the Valley in terms of what you all are doing. We'll go ahead and start with you.
Oh, thank you very much for that. Like President Bailey, I too want to express my deep gratitude to Senator Hinojosa and to the delegation from the Rio Grande Valley. It was a very good year for higher education and certainly for Texas A&M University. We are receiving $1.19 billion in new money. That's a significant amount of money. We're going to use a lot of that money to help freeze student tuition, so the students' tuition fees won't be going up. We're also, thanks to the help that we've received, we're going to be able to help the family members of veterans to go to college with great support from the state. We're also increasing the amount of funding for helping students that are at risk to the tune of about almost $72 million. It's performance-based funding. If we're able to help these students that are at risk be successful and graduate, that is a huge feather in our caps. That's going to the Texas A&M University system, and we are going to receive portions of that. We're seeing our budgets increase. I don't quite know what that is going to be this coming year, but we're very excited about it, in part because we've seen significant growth in the number of students, the number of faculty, the number of staff. We also are seeing pretty significant investments from the state in additional facilities for our center down here in McAllen. As we have seen in the paper, we've got a new nursing building going up, and are hoping to have a third building pretty soon. So we're very, very happy for the generous support that our state lawmakers have provided us, not only at the A&M system level, but also here at the Education Center in McAllen in particular. It's going to give us an opportunity to really help a lot of students. Like UTRGV, the vast majority of our students are first-generation college students. That means their mom and dad didn't go to college. The vast majority of our students are paying nothing in tuition and fees. We provide a lot of financial support to our students to make sure that they're able to go to college without having to worry about the costs associated with it. We've got students graduating with Texas A&M University degrees, with the Aggie Ring, the A&M diploma, and they're walking away without any debt. That's a big deal. That doesn't happen in a lot of places, but thanks to the support that not only that our lawmakers have had, but also the support that our leadership with the Chancellor John Sharp and our president and our provost, we have been able to make those commitments to our community down here. So that really broadens our ability to help more students and hold on to them and graduate them on time.
Dr. Solis?
Certainly, the new funding has certainly been a most historical moment for community colleges in the state of Texas. This has been the first time we've seen such a huge increase. This time we received over $600 million, right, Senator, additional, the 50 college districts collectively. And that's a humongous, a big change, because now the legislature, business, they understand the relevance and significance that community colleges bring, and they provide such great opportunities. And of course, the funding now for us is even better, because now we're going to be funded and awarded by outcomes. It's going to be based on performance, from completers to transfers to even job placements. And this is what community colleges do best. We have been doing it over and over, and especially now when we are the most relevant institution, especially for today's students that require, that need that guidance. And most importantly, students now, they want a better understanding of the return on their investments, ROI. And students now, of course, even question sometimes, unfortunately, the value of higher education. So as I mentioned, with apprenticeships, certificates, and other programs, the college is going to be able to address that need for that particular population that are still the uncertainty. Because we're going to be charting some very unique waters in the next few years with uncertainty that's going to take immediate change, especially with technology. So the funds that we're going to be obtaining, we're going to be focusing those on technology. And then the other most important aspect of any institution, which is human capital. We're going to be focusing on our employees, on upgrading the skills, upgrading the education, sending them to UTRGV for higher credentials as well. And so those are the type of uses we're going to be doing that. But of course, most importantly, we know the focus is students. But most importantly, now our focus, at least in the college, is going to be community and industry. Remember, students have always been our customers, but our clients is industry, is business. They're the ones that hire our students. So it's critical that we use this money appropriately for our students to be able to be basically stewards, to be customers of our clients. That's why it's very important that we're putting everything we can on human capital, our employees, so they can teach our students accordingly. So we're very excited about this new funding. It's certainly going to impact positively, and a very large factor for South Texas College.
Very good.
Thank you.
Dr. Bailey?
Thank you. As already been mentioned, it was a great session from the legislature for funding higher education. And I think the affordability bargain has already been mentioned, where universities, all the universities in the state, agreed not to raise tuition for undergraduates for at least 3 years, and we got a significant increase from the state. Two other funds that are really important, and I think this was alluded to, the legislature established a comprehensive universities fund and the regional universities fund. And what this does, it rewards universities for graduating at-risk students. They put a significant amount of money into this comprehensive regional universities fund. And the thing we like about it, we have by far the most at-risk students in the state. We get about 25% of that total fund. Most of our students are Pell eligible. Most of our students, if we graduate them and do well, we're rewarded through that fund. And so our graduation rates are going up dramatically every year. And because of that, we're drawing, as I said, about 25% of all of that money that was allocated to the state. Now, the state did something else really good for those students as well. In addition to Pell grants, the state of Texas has a Texas Grants Fund for students who are Pell eligible. They added, I think, $48 million. Was it more? Significantly more than that to that Texas Grant Fund. We love that because, again, we get a good portion of that. Remember, our students are mostly first generation Pell eligible. And so we're very pleased with the rate at which they're graduating, and the state is doing a good job of rewarding us for that. We're most appreciative of it.
Very good. Actually, Dr. Solis, on this next question, we'll start with you on this one. All three of you actually do take a very regional approach and have such a regional impact for us here in the Rio Grande Valley. If you could give us an idea of what each of you all do to try and meet the workforce needs for the area and also in areas of research and community development needs.
As I mentioned, of course, I'll need another hour to go through that. This is what we do best, working with the community, especially for the workforce. As I mentioned earlier, today's focus is going to be on credentials of value, and that is what the community colleges are focusing now. And of course, this is all going to take an incredible amount of partnering with our community. This is what we do best. We have, of course, over 100 programs, which means that also we have to have advisory boards. These advisory boards, and I see many of you here, are part of these different advisory specialties, from the health to advanced manufacturing, and of course to computers, to business, to all the different areas that many of you are part of these advisory boards that keep us abreast, they provide us the input of what's most important, what type of values, what skills. This is what it's going to be all about, developing the skills. These are what companies want. I'm going to go a little bit off tangent. Just 2 nights ago, I received a phone call from a very large Chinese electric automotive manufacturer. And he called me, because I know him from years back in my economic days. And he called me on midnight on Sunday and said, Ricardo, I have a company that wants to come to the border of Mexico. But what I find very unique, we know about the nearshoring taking place right now, but the only questions that he asked, that he wanted to know about the region, was no longer what we're used to back in my economic days, economic development days. He didn't care about infrastructure, land costs, wages, infrastructure. That was not the question anymore. Now he wanted to know specifically what skills are available in the area on both sides of the border. This is for a large electric automotive plant, just like Tesla in Monterrey. And now we're seeing a lot of other companies looking at the border. But what I found very interesting, that's why I wanted to share that today, that's what the only thing he wanted to know. And who are the educational providers? And of course, Emilia said, well, besides STC, we have Texas A&M with their engineering programs now, and that they're growing. And of course, UTRGV. And then we have many other proprietary schools as well, although they're in the health area, but we also have others that can also provide the support. But I told them, rest assured, we have the value, and most importantly, we have the skills providers here in South Texas. So this is the type of inquiries we're going to see coming up in the next few months. It's very exciting that we're going to see these type of companies that want to locate here, and that is what they're looking for. And I think I find it very refreshing that they now are not looking at the wages or cost of land or electricity or power or transportation. That's not their priority. It's about, and of course they know about the demographics, they know about the young population. They just want to know. The most important factor now is what we're talking about today, the state of education for the Valley. So this is exciting times and looking forward to that. So it's going to take a lot of partnering. Like I told you, I can go into a lot of details of the different partnerships we're working with everyone, but this is just a perfect example of what's about to come in the very near future here for the Valley.
Very good.
Thank you.
Dr. Bailey?
Thank you. We've done a couple of things that I think are important for workforce development in the Valley, and one involves the new programs we've added. As you know, this is one of the most underserved areas of the United States medically, and so the new School of Medicine is not quite so new anymore, but we're producing doctors out of the School of Medicine. Then there is a School of Podiatric Medicine. We'll be adding a program in doctorate in physical therapy here soon. Within a couple of years, that should open. And if you think about it, all of those are people who will go into areas that are medically underserved. We have a PA program. If you see a physician assistant here, it's probably our graduate. So think about that. Those are all high-paying jobs, things that are desperately needed. We've added 37 new programs, I think, since we opened the institution. That was 8 years ago. And those programs are geared primarily to areas of need in the workforce. But we do one other thing. We try to develop scholarship programs that keep students in the Valley. And some of you already know about our Luminary Scholars Program, but it works like this. We recruit the best students in high school, the absolute best across the Valley. And then we give those students a full 4-year scholarship all the way through their bachelor's program, but we pre-admit them to the graduate or professional program of their choice. If they want a PhD in engineering, if they want to go to medical school, we can pre-admit those students to those programs. So they get a full 4-year ride for their undergraduate. They're pre-admitted to the professional or graduate program, but then this is the kicker. We provide all tuition and fees for their graduate or professional program. That includes medical school, School of Podiatric Medicine, the doctorate in engineering, what have you. Now we ask, and so they're going from the time they're freshmen to the time they graduate from professional school without paying any tuition, any mandatory fees. But there is a catch. Here's the catch. We ask those students to commit to us that they will remain in the Rio Grande Valley for at least for the number of years that we've paid for after their bachelor's degree. So if they go to medical school for 4 years, we expect them, and they've committed to practice medicine here for 4 years. And so what we're trying to do is ensure that we give our best students great opportunities, and then we keep them here. And keeping those students in the Valley is the single most important thing we can do to enhance our success. So anyway.
Dr. Solis?
So
Santos.
the Rio Grande Valley graduates about 20,000 kids from high school every year. That's the 4 counties that make up the Rio Grande Valley. That's more than about a third of the United States. So we graduate a lot of young people. We're producing them like crazy. Many, for a long, long time, have not had very many higher education opportunities. UTRGV has been here for a significant while, even prior to that, when it was before there's 2 other institutions, and the same is true with South Texas College. But for a community as large as we are here, we need many more institutions of higher education. There's a lot of expertise that's specific oftentimes to certain universities, and our community down here has very specific needs as well. We happen to be a border region. That means that there are certain types of programs, whether they're in healthcare, whether they're in commerce, whatever it might be, that are required for that. One of the reasons that some of our programs look a little unique is because they were designed by our community to meet the needs of our community here. That maritime business administration degree, when young people ask me, oh, I'm interested in maritime business, or I'm interested in business administration, they're not thinking maritime business administration. That's what we offer, and we offer it because we happen to have ports of entry right here in our community. We happen to be very close to the Gulf of Mexico as well, and this is was a bit of a surprise for me when I saw it, but I was looking at institutions or universities that had the graduates with the highest incomes right out of college. I was surprised to see how often maritime institutions came up. They come up over and over again. So this is an opportunity for us to really produce graduates with really good paying jobs. Our hope is that they will stay in our community. We do know that a significant number of our graduates, when they are done with their education, they leave the region. They leave oftentimes because there aren't enough the right job opportunities for them. We're hoping to change that, and that's one of the reasons that we have created and recruited programs to Texas A, the Higher Education Center here in McAllen, so that these programs are graduating students that meet the workforce needs of our community. That's what we're aiming for first and foremost, and we're hoping to grow on that. We're expanding the programs that focus on the healthcare professions, for instance, as an example. And we're hoping that in the process, we're also building a type of citizen that will be helpful for our community. Texas A&M University has certain values that we want to instill in our students. Among these is the value of leadership. We want our students to be leaders in their communities. We want our students to give of their time to the value of selfless service. We want them to serve others. And we instill that in our students as well by getting to volunteer and to be engaged in their communities. And so that's a way in which we sort of continue to broaden what we mean by workforce. I think we're all in the business of workforce development. Oftentimes universities think, well, that's what community colleges do. No, that's what we all do. When our students graduate, they're not going to be graduating because they were interested in the liberal arts experience. They're graduating because now they need a good paying job. In fact, one of the biggest changes that we've seen in our graduates across the country, when we ask, why are you going to college? 15, 20 years ago, the answer would have been, half of them would have said, to get a better job. Today, it's more like 90%. 90%, 95% of students are saying, the reason I'm going to college is because I want a better job. And I think that is particularly true for members of our community because we're a very practical community, very practical people that are very interested in making sure that we advance economically and socially. And this is the way that we know works very, very well, by providing educational opportunities and by getting a college degree. I'll say this, I had a former boss, president of a university, who used to say that going to college was the worst decision a person could make. Says the best decision a person could make, that was graduating from college. We get a lot of young people that go to college that don't finish. That needs to stop. And the assistance that we're receiving now from policymakers is going to help us tremendously to hold on to our students, because come to college for a year or 2 years, incurring $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in debt and having no degree, that's a huge injustice to those poor kids, and we need to try to change that. And we're all committed to making that happen for our community here. So I'll just stop with that.
Dr. Bailey, the next question, we'll start with you on this one, since we're sitting in front of quite a few Chamber of Commerce members, and this is a chamber event. If you could highlight some of the ways that you think your institution is engaging effectively with the community and with the business sector, and then also what the business sector might be able to do if they want to better engage with you.
Well, that's a good question to ask me, because I have Veronica Gonzalez and Ron Garza right out here who do a lot of that engagement. And they head up a significant team of people whose full-time jobs are that kind of engagement with our communities. They provide assistance to small businesses, and they do this across the valley. In fact, we're in the seed building right up here. If you go up there, UTRGV has a presence there. And that presence is true across the valley. We work with small businesses. The success of small businesses is really the success of the valley. And so we need that very much. We're engaged right now. We had a meeting yesterday about a large regional project that we're going to collaborate on. And again, that collaboration will require assistance from our cities and chambers across the valley. But it's about regional development, and we'll have an announcement soon. But if we do that kind of regional development, it's remarkable. The support for businesses in the valley is at the heart of what we do. I should point out, by the way, one of our favorites, 5x5, right, is right up the road here at Seed, and they are producing Los Vaqueros beer. We're the only university in the Texas system with our own beer. So if you've not tried it, please do. Produced right here in Mission, Texas, right? You can't beat it. Hey, if you come to my house, that's all you're going to get. So anyway, it's at the heart of what we do. And as I said, we have an entire team of very talented people who do that on a daily basis.
Dr. Solis?
All right. I noticed it's running out of battery here, so I'm going to have, y'all did that on purpose. But because I have a lot to share. But luckily, I already touched upon about our priorities and our projects and where we're going. and most importantly, working with the entire community. And as I mentioned that earlier, I know that all of you here have the goal in mind to embrace education. But we have a massive and desperate need to really impart education even more creatively. We have the institutions here, as I mentioned earlier, as I mentioned the example from Asian companies that are going to be looking very seriously at the region. And we have an incredible opportunity to work collaboratively. That's going to be critical, that we work together instead of competing. And I know we do compete. We talked about a lot, touting of what we do best. And we know, fortunately, tuition is an issue, but as mentioned, all of us, fortunately, we have the funds available for free tuition for all of our students as well. And that is a remarkable opportunity should not be an issue, lack of funding for our students. It's going to be really working together, as I mentioned, in the advisory boards, from the community, the chambers, and be able to unite and put our forces together. That's what it's going to take. And I know we're getting there. And I know all of you have that in your heart. That's why you're here today. And again, I want to congratulate you and, of course, all the elected officials and board members that spend countless hours in really making sure that our missions are met. I want to thank you for doing that and supporting us. The mayors of McAllen, the mayors of Mission, and all of course, Ramiro as well, Edinburgh, where's he? I saw him earlier. All of these groups that are here, you are the critical component that's going to make us succeed. Because that is our responsibility in working together. And we have very innovative programs. And as I mentioned, we're always keeping on track of what industry tells us. That is, those are our clients. And we know we're meeting that. And of course, as I mentioned, skills is going to be the key. And I know there's other ways to impart education, as mentioned by A&M and by UTRGV. And we also have ours, and the values that we are imparting on is creativity and persuasion and critical thinking. And most importantly, back to what we're talking about is working collaboratively, finding solutions. This is what all of the institutions are striving to do with our students and as well with all of the participants in the community. So we're looking forward to really growing. Like I mentioned in the previous question, these are very exciting times that we're really all of us are going to embrace. And again, I want to thank you for providing that. Thank you.
Dr. Santos?
Oh, thank you. Well, we love the support that the business community provides us, but just to give you some ideas of things that you can also do for our students, we would love if you could provide more scholarship funds for our students. Financial assistance of that type is always very, very welcome. If you're interested in creating an endowment, we would love to have your money. We would also love for you to bring our students in as interns. We have a lot of students that need to have internship opportunities, and we're always looking for partners with whom to do that. And two other things, hire our graduates, and when you hire them, pay them well. We tend to boast that the cost of living down here in the Rio Grande Valley is pretty low and nice. One of the reasons for that is that we tend to have somewhat low wages, and I think it's incumbent upon all of us to beef that up a little bit, provide more opportunities for our folks, especially our young people, because if they're looking at a salary that we're able to pay here and there's something significantly higher in another part of the state or the other part of the country, they're going to go elsewhere. We've had some really, really bright kids graduate with engineering degrees that were very interested in staying right here in the valley with mom and dad, with the family. They're not. They're in Phoenix, they're in Denver, they're in other places, and they're getting paid significantly better. So that's part of what we need to be thinking about, is how do we make sure that once we are employing our graduates, but also that we're paying them well. Thank you.
Sitting here listening to some of the discussion, something kind of comes to my mind anyway, is we're kind of there's almost which comes first, the chicken or the egg type of situation. Because I know some of the larger corporations always say they want a certain educated workforce before they even consider coming. Education's being provided, but the kids are leaving upon graduation. How tough is that to find that balance to be able to start to break through on that? And what do you think your role is in that? Dr. Santos?
Well, that's one of the reasons we have community partners that provide us feedback in terms of what the needs are of the community. That helps us to identify the needs, and then we end up creating programs for it. I think probably the best person to actually start with should be President Solis, because I saw Carlos Margo in the audience here. These guys do that very well. They're constantly listening to folks, and in a couple minutes, they're producing some new program to meet a need that some industry partner has created. That's what community colleges do extremely well. But we're doing it as well. We're trying to make sure that we're creating programs at the Higher Education Center that are going to meet the needs of our community in the long term. So we're thinking, for us, we're thinking 30, 40, 50 years from now, what is it that we're going to be doing? What is our impact in this community? And we're hoping that we're going to be up there with UTRGV and producing a lot of graduates for our community down here. That's our goal. In our programs, Texas A&M University is known for the STEM fields, right? It produces a lot of graduates that are great in science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We're broadening that now to include the arts in some really important ways. Perhaps not quite us here in McAllen, but we are in College Station. So we know that there's a significant value to that. One of the, there's this great work that came out about 15, 20 years ago by this guy named Florida. I forget his first name, but he made the argument that the well-educated workforce wants to be in a place where there's a rich culture, where the arts are vibrant, where there's music, where there's theater, where there's the visual arts of all types. And those things help to hold on to well-educated individuals, because, you know, at the end of the day, these guys that are making some new machine, they want to stay in a place that, a place that's got the stuff that's made of beauty, right? The stuff that appeals to our hearts. And we're going to make sure that that's something that's available to our community down here. We certainly, when we look at the great work that our local mayors are doing to do precisely that, that's extremely important. Sometimes people think, well, that's a vanity or that's a luxury we can't really afford. You have to have it. You have to have beautiful things to attract people with high incomes, to attract businesses that are going to want to stay in a place and be successful.
Dr. Solis, based upon something you had said a little bit earlier, I get the impression that maybe you think we're kind of at that breakthrough point where we're starting to turn that tide a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. As I've always advocated, continuous innovation is our ultimate sustainable competitive advantage. And that is how we approach it. Fortunately, we have all the institutions here of higher education that are making a difference. At STC, we are constantly focusing, and I'm glad you mentioned that we have the ability to move very fast, very quickly, and implement programs within days. And that's customized, especially continuing education. That has been our big edge in programs. Just to give you an example, here at our technology campus, we just started doing kind of like an incubator for companies to start. And we're not going to have an EV, electric vehicle company, providing that type of skills. We're also going to have an advanced manufacturing. We also provided help for Soho. You remember that Soho, I think the company from India, and I'm glad we have some representatives from McAllen, that they did the right thing. A very difficult decision, but one that was necessary, doing what's right for the community, and that is allow them to locate here in McAllen. And this is the type of programs that's going to take conviction and vision, but working collaboratively. And that's why I'm very excited about that. And also I want to touch very quickly about just the culture, the demographics. We have a very unique opportunity, being that we're approximately 95% Hispanic. The culture is one that work and family come first. And of course, our challenge is that unfortunately, education comes third to many families of Hispanic origin. And because work has been so strong, the work ethic. And then thirdly, we have such a strong demand still in the services and the workforce that many of our students, when they finish high school, instead of going to higher education, they're going to work. And that is all of us collectively, our responsibility with the high schools, and of course the boards know about this, that we have to keep them on track to going into education. So at STC, what we're doing, we're providing even more opportunities, very innovative ones, such as short-term certificates, diplomas, to get them in so they can get that confidence. And of course, now we're having to do apprenticeships because they're working. Well, let's continue. They need that paycheck, and that is part of the Hispanic family, the heritage family and work. So then we're providing that as well. So it's a tough situation, but it's one that we have to do. Given to the changing times, we have to adopt. We can't be doing what we were doing 20, 30 years ago. Just like I mentioned that example on the economic development for companies coming over. They're not looking at the cost of land or wages. They're looking at higher education, values and skills that are available today. Because they want to make a decision that's going to be locating to expand for the next 20, 30, 40 years. And they're going to, of course, invest billions. So just like also all of you that have small businesses and so on, the chambers of commerce, you understand that. That is critical. And so, of course, I know I'm talking about manufacturing. The other area, and I know I'm running out of time and battery, but is the health area. That's one that we're very proud of at STC. I think all of you know that we have a tremendous, we're the largest producers of LVN and RN amongst community colleges in the entire state of Texas. That's a remarkable feat. Thank you. Let me repeat that. We produce over 500 nurses a year. Nobody even comes close to that. That's part of the economy effect for the RGV. And of course, we have many other programs, and these are 2-year programs. And I'm mentioning that because this is, of course, 4-year universities is not for everybody, given especially with the example that I gave, but 2 years is a good way to get them started, or better yet, the certificates. And then, yes, we want to encourage them, by all means, continue your education once you get started. Go to the university to get hired, to get a master's degree and so on. That is what we want to do. That is how we're compelling our students to move in that direction. But meantime, we have to be able to adapt to the present needs of what the population now is demanding, especially after COVID. Those are the challenges we have here. But most importantly, these are opportunities. So it's very exciting times. Thank you.
Very good. And
Yes.
Dr. Bailey, do you kind of get the same feeling that we've kind of started to turn that tide as well?
I think so. You know, one of the things I like to say is that the biggest export from the valley, not cotton, not citrus, is human capital. And we see that every day. I have 2 deans sitting right here. Our education dean, I'm gonna raise your hand, right? I'll raise your hand. Engineering dean. Every education graduate from her college will get a job here in the valley. In fact, most of the teachers probably went to your college. Most of those engineering graduates aren't going to stay here. And so we will support you, mayors, chambers. Anytime you're recruiting businesses here, we need them here. We can provide them with the educated workforce. Engineering was growing by about 7% a year. We're growing rapidly. We're producing great engineers. They're recruited all over the state of Texas and the United States. People prize them highly. We need to keep them here. And as we bring in businesses, and again, we work together with our mayors and our chambers to help get new companies down here, we can keep more of that workforce. And keeping that workforce here is what will transform the valley more than anything. When you go to Austin and go to San Antonio, to Houston, how many valley people, valley kids do you run into? You know, I think about them. I see the anesthesiologist in Austin, the surgeon in Dallas. God, I wish we had that person back in the valley. Think about that. And that's our goal, is to help with our chambers, our mayors, our counties, to bring in the businesses that can keep our folks here. If we do that, we'll transform the valley like nobody's business.
And on that note, we are out of time for our time on stage. Gentlemen, thank you very much for sharing with everyone today and the opportunity to build upon those bridges that are already in place. And we'll hand it back over to Dimitra, I think, or CJ.
Thank you, guys. Good afternoon. My name is CJ Sanchez. I'm the Vice President for the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce. I want to give another round of applause for our guests today. A special thank you to our lovely MC, Ms. Dimitra Trejo. Thank you so much for filling in for us today. We look forward to continuing working with you. Our fantastic moderator, Mr. Craig Verley, thank you so much for coming out of retirement to join us today. And of course, another special round of applause for today's guest speakers, Dr. President Guy Bailey with UTRGV, President Solis of STC, and Assistant Provost Santos with Texas A&M. We thank you guys for gifting us with your time and insight with us today. We greatly appreciate it. The Mission Chamber Board of Directors and staff would like to thank everyone that helped make today's event possible. I'd like to thank the Mission Event Center's staff for being here today and helping us get set up. I'd like to thank the Mix Academy for helping us with all our virtual production needs, as well as AV needs. I'd like to thank Cornerstone Catering for catering today's delicious meal. And of course, to our board of directors and staff for helping us today. I'd like to recognize them individually. The GMCC team, Ms. Brenda Enriquez, our president and CEO. As well as our team, I believe they're still out in the hallway, but Ms. Jennifer, Priscilla, and Candace, we all work tirelessly to make today's event possible, so thank you guys. Lastly, I'd also like to give another round of applause and a special thank you for our business sponsor today, UTRGV. Thank you so much for your support and for gifting us with your time today. We greatly appreciate it. At this time, I'd like to recognize all of our table sponsors for today's event. So thank you so much for your all sponsorship and your support. The Mission Economic Development Corporation, Wash McGurk, Cordova Nixon, the Almaguer Law Firm, South Texas College, Texas Gas Service, Millennium Document Systems, Bird Ogden Rio Grande Valley, Texas Regional Bank, Radisson McAllen Airport, Atlas Electric and Air Conditioning, Social Life Magazine, Composite Access Products, Valley Land Title, Sherryland ISD Education Foundation, Killam Development, Raleigh Credit Union, and Lone Star National Bank. A big round of applause for all of you guys for making today possible. And of course, year-round, we'd like to thank our investors that help make our events possible year-round. They're great supporters of the Chamber. They're involved year-round, and we appreciate their support. At this time, I'd like to recognize them as well. The City of Mission, Cano & Sons Trucking, Mission CISD, Texas National Bank, South Texas Health System, Mission Economic Development Corporation, Mission Regional Medical Center, IBC Bank, Bird Ogden Rio Grande Valley, Beauty Lace Med Spa, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Thank you guys once again. I appreciate you all for gifting us with your time today and for joining us. Buenas tardes.